Our first cycle of NBA 2K24 news has been released, and let me go ahead and tell you, it was a lot. So I spent the day figuring out what was important and what isn't. That way I can give you guys all of the necessary information without you having to read through all the BS. So we'll go ahead and break it down into sections, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with defense because that's what got the most noticeable buff. Let's start off with change number one, and that's that there's going to be more bumps, more defensive response, and less sliding. Now, if you guys have played 2K the last few years, you know that the defensive end of the game is extremely slidey. A lot of people have struggled with this, and I'm glad to see that that's something that they're changing. If you guys go back to 2K15, 16, 17, the defensive end of the ball was much more responsive, and supposedly we're getting back to that, which is huge. This doesn't just help on the defensive end, but it creates a larger skill gap on the offensive end because it's going to be harder to score. So not everybody's going to be able to put up points. You're going to have to actually be skilled or you're not going to score the ball. Right stick steals are back, okay? And this is going to be a major skill gap. If you guys don't know about right stick steals, what you do is basically when you hold the controller, you're going to reach your right stick at the ball hand. And if you do it right, you're going to get steals. Now, I already know for a fact that they're going to have boosted this to try to get people to do that instead of just pressing square or X. The reason they're going to do this is because they want to add things that are going to add a skill gap. Now, this will be a great implementation if you get penalized as well when you do it wrong. The only thing I don't want to see is you mistime it, you misreach, and it's okay, there's no real penalty. If there's a real penalty when you mess up and a big boost when you do it right, that's going to add a major layer to the defensive and offensive end of the game, and that improves the skill gap, which I'm all for. Paint defense was a major problem for majority of players out there, and that supposedly changes here, okay? They're shutting down the contact dunks, they're reworking the paint defense completely, and it's going to be a lot better overall. That's a change that a lot of players wanted to see, and it's a change that you are going to get. The contest system also got a major rework. As you guys are going to see, they're rewarding you for being closer to the player. In this last 2K, there was a lot of ghost contests where people would have their hand up, but they'd be further away and they'd get rewarded for it. Supposedly, they're going to base it on your player being closer to the actual offensive player. Now, the only thing that I do not like in this situation is it sounds like to me that if you keep your hands down, but you're next to somebody, it's going to be contested. And I don't really feel like that should be the case. I feel like you should have to be up on a player with your hand up, because otherwise, if we're trying to make the game realistic, that's just not realistic, because if you guard someone with your hands down, you're going to get sprayed every single time. So we'll see how that goes. Only time will tell when we actually play the game. The sped up shots are changing. They're still in the game, but the penalty isn't supposed to be as big, which is huge because last year you never knew what shot time you were going to get. Sometimes it sped up, sometimes it didn't. It didn't really make any sense. Supposedly that's reworked and it's going to be a lot better. Limitless takeoff was removed, quick drops were removed, and I'm going to touch way more on those in future videos when we're talking more about animations and badges as the information is released. So make sure that you guys are subbed to the channel so you don't miss any of that important information. Now let's go ahead and get into the offensive end because a lot has changed there as well. Green or Miss does return, but it is only for Park, Pro-Am, Rec Center, and any game mode that's on Hall of Fame. So Play Now and My Team will not be green or Miss. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. The dunk meter returns, and this actually is a phenomenal change, okay? If you guys played last year and you guys had a wide open dunk, let's say you're running to the paint and you thought you were gonna get a contact dunk and you don't get any contact, the meter was like this big, which made absolutely no sense. The meter was this big if there was somebody in the paint and you could dunk on them, but if there was no one in the paint, the meter was this big. Supposedly those have flip-flopped, and now when there's somebody in the paint, the meter is gonna be this big, and when there's somebody not in the paint, it's gonna be huge, which is very big in my personal opinion. That's how it should be, and it will add a major skill gap to contact dunks, being that the meter is going to be much smaller. Adrenaline has also received a major change. Now, if you guys played last year, you know that as a guard with Adrenaline, it was not that easy to dribble because anytime you change directions, you were losing a bar. That is no longer a thing. Now, the only way you lose Adrenaline is when you get bumped by a lockdown defender. Now, I don't know how I feel about this either because I need to know if it's going to be bumps that are very solid. If a defender brushes you and you lose an Adrenaline bar, it's going to just be too much defensive oriented and it's going to be a problem. If a defender completely beats you to the spot and walls you up, I'm absolutely for it. But you guys got to understand, fades were nerfed. There's a lot of changes that are going on in the defensive end to make the game better, and I'm all for that. I want this game to be very balanced. I want it to be defensive and offensive, but there's not a lot of offensive changes that are helping. So the only good part is you're not going to lose Adrenaline for just dribbling now, so you can dribble all you want. Dribble gods are going to make a return as long as you don't get bumped. My only concern is how easy is it going to be to bump a offensive player? Is it going to be something that you just have to tap him and he loses a bar? Because if that's the case, it's going to be a long year for us point guards. 133 new dribbling styles were added to the game, which is awesome, and I love that they're trying to be more creative and add more things to the game. However, I personally feel like there's going to be a meta dribble style regardless. Don't kill the messenger. That's just always how it is. There's always going to be a meta. There's always going to be a dribble style that's better than all the other ones. So cool for my people out there that like to make the game more like sim and realistic. You guys have a lot more to play with. Drawing fouls in the paint is back, and that's actually huge. I don't know if you guys ever played 2K11 11 or one of the games where you could go to the paint, hop step, pump fake. Anytime a defender would jump, it would be an automatic foul, and it was a major skill gap in the paint. Supposedly that is back this year, and that'll be big on the offensive end because the offensive end didn't get a lot of boost. That's going to add a skill gap on the defensive and the offensive end because look, right now as the game currently stands, you can be in the paint and just spam jump. I know you only get 3 adrenaline bars, but you can jump and you don't get punished. Now you really have to set, be patient, and not bite on fakes because otherwise you're going to be sending your opponent to the line. Jump shot animations will pop up on every green now, which is huge because last year the game was kind of dull not being able to hit my celebrations. I just want to every time I green a shot, you know what I'm saying? Jump Shot Creator has had some major tweaks. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the defensive immunity aspect that the Jump Shot Creator had. That's probably something that we're going to have to watch out for, and that's something that I think is going to receive a early patch, okay? Any jump shot can be greened this year, according to Mike Wang. And if you turn your meter off, you get a 20% boost. Here's the problem. With an A+ defensive immunity, and you can green any shot, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be able to green super heavy contests. Now, with the way defense is sounding, that might not be too bad, and that might be the counteracting part, as I was saying earlier about counteracting defense and making it balanced on both ends. But the way it's sounding, if you can green anything and then you get an A+ defensive immunity, you're going to be shooting over people that are in your grill like that. I can just tell it's going to be a problem for people like defense. Now, a lot of you guys love 15, 16, 17, and that's kind of how those games were. If you greened it, if you timed it right, you would make the shot regardless of where the contest was. So they are adding that back, so we'll see how much you guys really like those games. Dribbling wise, not losing adrenaline for doing dribble moves adds a huge creativity aspect. You can be a lot more creative, and now the right stick flick ups, when you go like this and it would do signature size ups for you, that is back as well. So a lot of people have been asking for that, and that is returned. So you're going to see the return of the dribble gods. You also have the ability to switch your takeover mid game. Now that's not something that was touched on much, and I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I guess we're going to have to see as time goes on, but when I get more information on that, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Pro play was announced, and basically this was trying to make the game as realistic as possible. Pro play is taking the real moves from real players that they did during the game and implementing them into 2K. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, okay? Everybody has been talking about pro play being a W. I'm on the fence with pro play. Is once you start making a video game animation based, you start killing the skill gap. The more animations that you're adding into the game, the more realistic things that you're kind of adding, the skill gap is kind of changed. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, how is it killing the skill gap if it's more realistic? The problem is the animation is kind of going to trigger itself with how I'm hearing that pro play is. It sounds like if you're doing step backs or crossovers at certain spots, the game is going to trigger it for you. And if that's the case, in my opinion, that's going to take away from the skill gap of the game, because it's kind of like, basically if I run like this and I flick back, my player is going to do a specific move that's realistic and it's going to get me space because I have X animation on, and that could be a good thing, but I feel like anytime you're allowing a video game to play for you, there's more downsides than good. Anytime you start getting the game heavily animation based, I feel like it's just always a big risk. But let me know in the comment section, do you guys think pro play is going to be a W or an L? One of the biggest announcements by far is the fact that Rookie to Legend is back. Rep is back, and that is big. As you guys know, in the 2K community, we did not have Rookie to Legend last year, and the game, just simply put, did not feel the same. With the return of Rookie to Legend, crossplay, and all of the additions that 2K has added for NBA 2K24, we could be easily looking at the best 2K ever. And I understand that every single time we get baited into saying that, but I'm telling you guys right now, there has not been a more anticipated drop than this current game. We have everything that we have asked for. The devs actually seem as if they are listening to our requests, and this could be huge. And I'm talking huge. This could be the biggest year by far, guys. I am beyond excited. And again, there's obviously a lot more information that came out. If you guys want to know more, you guys can easily go read their blog. But this is, in my opinion, the most important information that we saw from the day. What are you guys' takeaways? In my personal opinion, 2K24 is sounding like it's going to be a great game, and I'm super excited to be able to play it. I'm ready to get back to streaming and uploading videos, and I hope you guys are ready to be watching. So listen, smash that like button, sub to the channel, and as always, it's your boy Chalk. Stay tuned for more, and I'm out. Peace.